The most important Mercedes model worldwide is still the Mercedes C-Class, and here it is in the all-new generation. W206 is the code, and this is the new AMG line with the front grille, which has this A shape, so wider in the lower part, a little bit shorter in the upper part, sporty appearance, and a new Mercedes star pattern in this AMG line. Soon I'll also show you how the Avantgarde looks like, and selenite grey Magno, this matte paint, one of my favorite ones, so either Thomas Blue, I'll also show you a great Thomas Blue soon, or this matte paint. And lamps here, standard LED, and optional a so-called digital light, and with a more elaborated high beam function, it also can serve as some kind of projector. But overall, a sporty look definitely for the new C-Class for all versions. And if you don't have the AMG line, but the Avantgarde trim level here, then you have this front grille with the vertical fins like this, and so the vertical black fins and the big horizontal chrome fin. Also looks quite sportier now from the base version. With 4.75 m or 187 inches, the new C-Class is around 6.5 centimeters or around 2.5 inches longer, and also grown a little bit in wheelbase. This will affect the rear seating, soon more to that. But the side profile here, rather classic. There's also the Estate to come very soon. Shaded windows right here, and also in this night package, which is an option. Also black covers for the side mirrors. Then wheels here today in 19-inch, different sizes and stylings available. This one is a new aerodynamic styling. Brake disc-alike styling, I would say. Overall 17 to 19-inch, so these are the biggest ones. Quite fancy, right? And of course the AMG line here with a stronger side spoiler. Suspension, base suspension, sport suspension, or today we have it here also the adaptive suspension. The air suspension is no more, but I can tell you in the driving part, I will talk a lot about the suspension. It will be quite interesting, I can promise. And another technology feature, rear axis steering. We also have it here on the vehicle today, so at lower speeds it turns in the opposite direction than the front wheels. This is actually faking a shorter wheelbase and will reduce the turning circle. So a great technology we have not seen on the mid-size segment yet. And in numbers, up to 2.5 degrees it turns in the opposite direction with the rear axis steering. And the turning circle is reduced by 40 centimeters or 16 inches, really massive. However, up or over a threshold of 60 kilometers or 37 miles per hour, then rear axis steering turns in the same direction than the front wheels, and this is giving more stability at higher speeds. Yeah, definitely really crucial technology, but of course also pricey. Then here design, really sleek, especially in this paint again. Horizontally drawn tail lamps. This brings more modern style and also stresses the width of the vehicle. However, you also have to think about that CLA, C-Class, even E-Class now, even the S-Class, they all look more or less the same in the rear now. And massive Autogefuehl fake exhaust police alert right down here in the AMG line. I'm not sure if that is really necessary, but the overall styling, I think, to me at least, really cool for a new C-Class. Would like to hear your comments there in our section. And here you can open the trunk and see it here for the first time in the C-Class. Here the tail lamps are split then actually like this. Pretty interesting and actually quite good accessible. This is then the sedan trunk, 455 liters and 1 meter or 40 inches in length. And the height here for the sedan about 20 inches or 50 centimeters. Backpack easily fits in there, and then we can release the seats from here. And this is really very well done. Hardly see that with the sedan that this works. We don't have to go around. Immediately we can load all the things through. Well done. Even a little bit better with the Estate, I can tell you. And this is the Estate version, the famous T-Modell, as we say in Germany. S206 is the internal code. Of course, the same length and so on. We also have the 19-inch wheels here and my favorite color, spectral blue. Just beautiful. That's what we call Thomas Blue here on Autogefuehl. The difference definitely here than in the rear for a little bit more headroom and of course more luggage space. But I think for an Estate car, it still looks quite dynamic here also in the AMG line. So which one would you actually go for? The sedan or the Estate? And this is really interesting to see here in spectral blue a sedan from the rear, and then in spectral blue here the Estate from the rear. There you can see, okay, it doesn't look that dynamic, you know, just as a sedan. Of course, a little bit more bulky, but then it's more practical. However, the tail lamps are also horizontally drawn. That makes a more modern appearance. And Also fake exhaust alert here for the Autogefuehl fake exhaust police. 455 liters in capacity for the sedan, here 490 liters for the Estate. The length here is the very same, a meter or 40 inches, but of course the huge advantage here to load things in and out easily and also hire things, and this is also cool. Look at that, once again, see when I close it here, you can see this stays, there we go. Seen it here? It automatically goes down. We rather see that in segments above that or something, but here to have it in a mid-size segment, and once again it raises automatically, have this one in the mid-size segment, this is really cool. And also here, look at that, possibility to fold the seats, click, so easy, and they directly fold flat like this. That's how it's supposed to be, so really awesome setup here for an Estate. And this is then a little bit less than 80 inches or 2 meters, so a little bit less, so very well usable. I mean, yeah, I'm really impressed. This is really exactly how we need an Estate to be as for the loading area. As for engines, 2-liter 4-cylinder diesel, then the 1.5-liter turbo petrol engine and a 2-liter petrol engine. This one here today is C300, 258 horsepower, mild hybrid technology, optional all-wheel drive. And I think I would really go for this one, not for the lower displacement engine. You know, rather pick a little bit more displacement and then a little bit less in the horsepower figure of the each individual spec. That's definitely better for the engine. Next to mild hybrid technology, also real plug-in hybrids available. 25 kilowatt-hour battery, so quite big for this segment, and that means up to 100 kilometers or 60 miles of pure electric range. That's of course really promising. We also have one driving part already with the plug-in hybrid. You can also tune into that video. Yeah, and the only thing real sports car fans have to swallow, with the 2-liter 4-cylinder petrol engine, that will also come for the AMG models. For all of them. The new car key is quite fancy, sculptural alike. Then door closing sound. Not quite solid, but we heard it better, definitely. So a Golf, for example, has a better door closing sound. Then inside the doors, actually good build quality. This element here looks a little bit spaceship-alike, but doesn't look too much premium. Here, then capacitive buttons here for the window control. I also talk about that while we drive the vehicle. It's not a step forward, definitely. This one here looks fancy, I mean, to control the seat, but also this one here is more like touch and don't, you can't really move it that much. So, not sure where this is heading. I mean, it's fairly easy to control, and here, one button. This is all cost saving, so one button for all these functions. This is seat cooling, by the way. I don't know, where is this heading with the automotive industry? Then interior. This is visually actually really fancy. AMG-Line steering wheel. There's also another steering wheel available in the non-AMG line, of course. Digital instruments, everything digitalized, and nice ambient lighting here in the air vents, and they also look really, really fancy, right? And the whole cockpit is also lent towards the driver. Seating here, in this case here, this is animal skin spec, but you can hardly see it. I'll soon also show you the animal-free seat, which is also as good as this one in different colors and trims and so on. Comfortable seating position, and with millimeter 86 or 6'1", still have some headroom left. Yeah, I can put the seat a little bit lower like this, you know, but it's better actually when the seat is a little bit more upright, because that way I'm falling backwards at the moment, and when I put it a little bit higher, then the seat surface is a little bit more upright. Electric control here for the steering wheel, not necessarily in the lowest trim version though. And the steering wheel really looks cool, but then again, capacitive functionality once again. I mean, am I complaining too much about capacitive button? Or what do you think about capacitive buttons? Because I always make the experience that while driving, it's really hard to control. However, here, these digital instruments right there, they're actually quite fancy and they are really fast. So good processing power. So when you, for example, here hit the nav screen like this, you have a GPS integration all over the place. This is really fast. So even faster than the central infotainment system, and of course, really large than overall. And now let's take a look at the different trim and also other color from the inside actually. Look at that. We have some other decor elements and most importantly this seat here. So the Artico leather red high grade is available here in bright, but also in brown and in black. And look at that, it's perforated, even has seat cooling available. That's really cool, and it's really soft and plush. So it feels great, no one would see a difference. This is one of the best examples to use alternative materials that are more sustainable and more animal friendly, yet at the same time, no compromise on comfort or luxury features. So when I'm sitting here now, it's the very same comfort. No one could really tell the difference. Really soft and plush. And once again, since you also have the seat cooling right here at the inside of the doors, you can also stay cool, although you have a slick surface. You know that fabric surfaces usually stay cooler in summer and are also warmer in winter. But then again, some of you guys also want surfaces that are able to wipe clean them easier or something, or just want this look or the feeling. On European markets, you can also still get fabric seats. They're also quite attractive. And also a mix of fabric on the inside and this Artico leatherette on the outside. And then for all markets, you can get here the leatherette seats, again, as I said, in black, beige and brown. So this really wide variety of choices, which are also animal-free. That's well done, and the quality is really superb. But you know how it is with the German premium manufacturers. This screen, the 12.3 inch, is an option. Standard would be 10.25, a little smaller one. And also on the right side here, like in the new S-Class, this vertical screen, this is also an option, 11.9 inch. A smaller 9.5 inch would be standard. And then the good thing is you would have, I heard at least, some manual climate dials here, and I would prefer that. So don't go for the biggest screen, because then the climate unit here is in the screen, and we all know, once again, it's okay, but it's harder to control. So you can do it, but maybe you don't want to do it, you know. Really prominently also placed, once again, these air vents and nice clicking sounds here, and ambient lighting. That's something that Mercedes can do very, very well. And also everything is like wrapped tightly from the design. Let's take a look here at the infotainment unit. It looks really impressive. However, sometimes it's a little bit complicated to control, especially while driving. Stationary here is okay. Wow, well, it's really hot. So when the sun goes on the screen, and I mean, most infotainment systems are like this in the car. This one is more open. This gives an open space atmosphere, but then like, wow, you almost burn your hands. So hot is this screen then here from the sun. And when you live in Texas or something, this can really be a problem. So like this, Apple CarPlay can be accessed right here. And we have the optional Burmester sound system here. And this is really, you know, bass intensive, good surround sound. So I can recommend that for music lovers like this. So then you can always get to the home screen back like this, but you don't have any more hotkeys just for the driving mode selection. There you have like real key, but then again, look at that. I mean, it's basically one button. Really? Come on. Volume control is here. Sometimes when I see things like this, I just want to go and buy a vintage car. Seriously, you know. Here, this is, by the way, a fingerprint sensor that you can have like your own Mercedes account and then use that. And let's talk to that. Hey, Mercedes. Hey, Mercedes.
How can I help?
What do you think about BMW?
Good friends from Bavaria.
Really good friends from Bavaria? I heard that differently. Middle console, you can open this one, and then you have USB connectors, 2 times USB-C, and also inductive charging pad there in the front. Phones. And then you have the cup holders. They are also somewhat adaptive. And then we have the typical split opening here for the back armrest like this, and 2 more USB-C chargers. So you have enough places to charge your phones, definitely. And the head-up display is a nice option and even has some GPS visualizations, for example, when you have set the route. We have a fancy panoramic roof, but we have a not so fancy slider for that. So, well, I can press it to, you know, get this split opening, but then I have to slide it. I have to slide it. No. And then it opens. Yeah, and once again, sliding and capacitive things are for smartphone world, but not for cars. And no, a car is not a moving smartphone. Have you ever driven your smartphone? Didn't work for me so well. But here, leaving a lot of sun inside, that works very well today. And by the way, we also have a shade here. So I slide it back then, and then I have to slide it once more. And then for really hot states, of course, really important to... Why? Why is it? Yeah, I think that's exactly the problem. And I mean, you can expect from a customer to, I mean, why can't I just slide it again now and then the shade is coming? So am I absolutely stupid, or is it, there we go. What did I do differently now? So Maybe I try with the MBUX. Hey Mercedes. Hey Mercedes.
How may I help you?
Open the sunroof.
I'm opening the sunroof.
Nice. Seeing in the rear, there's now more legroom here due to the increased wheelbase. So before it was really close. Now it's not abundance of space, but I still have like some space then in front of my knees. So that's definitely better than before. I mean, it's average comfort here in the rear. It's actually not too bad. You can use it with 4 tall adults. Headroom-wise, though, in the sedan, when you're really tall, one with A6 or 6 here, then I do hit the ceiling with my head. We'll soon also check out how it differs then in the Estate version. And the middle part here could be used. However, there is a quite substantial middle tunnel, and also the middle part is a little bit harder, and then headroom-wise also a little bit of a problem. Yeah, but the new climate unit here in the rear, that is actually quite fancy. Let me turn on the AC right there, and then we can take a look at it.
You've forgotten your phone.
And now the comparison rear of the Estate. How is it different? First of all, here again the bright Artico seats. So this once again the man-made leather, as Mercedes calls it, or Artico or MBTex in the US. So again, also in the rear, really plush, soft, and also perforated for better climate comfort. Wow, also really impressed with that. And let's get inside. What's different to the sedan? And you've seen when we have panoramic roof installed, which we have today in both vehicles, both sedan and Estate. So it's very good to compare. In the sedan, I did hit my head here at the ceiling, but here I can exactly fit in with one with A6 or 6'1". So if you're traveling with tall adults, the Estate, the T-Modell, das T-Modell, German lesson for today, then this one is here, das T-Modell, is really the better choice. Welcome to Thomas's driving lounge with the all-new Mercedes C-Class. Let's go to sports mode and accelerate from 50 kilometers to 100. Let's go. Dropped the dips, even a little bit faster. So yeah, quite good acceleration here with the C300, which will be, oh, speed cameras, pay attention to that. C300 will be actually probably the worldwide bestseller, or one of the best sellers. We have it here in the 4MATIC version, so the all-wheel drive, and definitely more than enough power. The thing is, when you go with a smaller petrol engine, then you have also less displacement. Here is the 2-liter 4-cylinder, and the entry-level ones are the 1.5. And I always say, pick the highest displacement with the least amount of horsepower that's available, because that's the best for the engine, you know? So I really hate it when the manufacturers squeeze so much horsepower out of small engines. That cannot be good, like, you know, for long term. And the greatest thing about the new C-Class is, yeah, I mean, in some of the luxury and comfort features, it really comes close to an S-Class. Of course, it will still be a different feeling, yes. But I mean, in the sense of how you feel, you know, the grip, the thick steering wheel, then the soft plush seats, even the ones with the high-grade leatherette Artico MBTex, also all the assistance systems and so on, or infotainment system, this really comes, you know, S-Class alike. We do not have air suspension anymore, but the adaptive suspension that we have here, even if we are in a sport mode, really combines comfort and sportiness very well. German Autobahn test here, of course, that's the thing you watch this channel for when we are in Germany. And in the sport mode, really more stable, a little bit more feedback. And also go back to the comfort mode, and this is actually quite good to choose then here in the lower part. Normal comfort mode then gives me a little bit more dampening, a little bit more relaxing, but still it doesn't shake up at all. So yeah, some might miss the air suspension in the C-Class, but then again, the adaptive suspension here is so good that you can also easily live without it. This vehicle is also equipped with a rear axle steering here at higher speeds. That gives me more stability when I'm doing a lane change. It steers in the back in the same direction on the front wheels. And at lower speeds, opposite direction, then for a little bit more agility, actually. And that's, of course, a great new feature to have here in this very segment. Also very good as for noise insulation at 1 kilometers or 60 miles an hour. Very silent here on a motorway. That's where the C-Class is really very good. And also if you compare the other competitors in this segment. The main ones, of course, would be the Audi A4 and the BMW 3 Series, which are also really silent, no doubt about that. But here, once again, in these features here, yeah, very, very good. However, what I do criticize still is something of the user interface, and especially while driving. So imagine, so let's see, I want to adjust the mirrors, and then, oh no, capacitive buttons again, and when I control them the first time, then you have, which one I do hit? It's like left, right, and then, wrong click, and suddenly, the mirrors fold in. Damn it, wait a minute, that's the traffic, and okay, fold them out again, and then when you want to control them, again, capacitive buttons for up and down, of course, it's all feasible. You can do it, you can live with it. The question is just, is it better than the outgoing model in the control? No, it's not. It's worse to control than the outgoing model. And that's a problem. Also, the fancy infotainment system and so on. Yeah, I mean, it looks cool. And the left side here is also fast to control. But then once again, capacitive buttons while driving, you don't have the best feeling for it. And I want to concentrate on the traffic situation when I'm driving a vehicle. When everything is going autonomous and I'm probably jobless or something, and we all better kill ourselves, then everything can be capacitive, whatever. We don't care on our smartphones. But as long as we drive vehicles, I want the real buttons, period. And also here, for the middle infotainment system, I mean, it's a little bit different when you go for the base version. That will be a little bit better. So I urge you not to pick the highest infotainment spec. Mercedes will hate me for saying that, because it costs them money. But here then in the highest spec, I have no shortcut to return to the GPS, for example. So I have to first, search like, okay, home button, then GPS. Yeah, it's not too complicated once again. But these things add up and make driving just more complicated. Controlling the temperature, also here on the screen then, there again the base version would be better because you have other temperature dials there, which will be very important. I would love to see that base version, but the test vehicles are usually not equipped with that. So here for temperature control while driving up and down, and then here the vents control. You're still looking, maybe after a while you look a little bit less, but overall you're still somewhat looking, and that's definitely a bad thing. However, then driving again, lane change for example, it's just superb. This car drives so, so great. It really feels extremely elaborated and sophisticated. And you do feel that you are in a mid-size segment when you're a tall person. So when I, for example, compare this here to a riding comfort of the Mercedes E-Class or S-Class, I just have more space actually in these higher segment vehicles. You feel it because you're kind of caged in here a little bit. So I would not necessarily say it's the best display by the augmented reality function for the GPS, which is a very helpful feature, especially when you're talking to people on the internet while driving a car. You're welcome. Then you can see here camera image, and I also have the arrows inside there. And this is really helpful. Saying like, oh, Thomas, this lane you have to keep now. Stop talking. And then follow this direction with the GPS. Let's see, now it should also change. You're seeing here also it says I can keep on this lane so far. Let's see what does it mean, change then here. There is the arrow then switches, saying like I have to go even more right. Woo! We crossed the arrow. I think it's a very good perspective right here. But then again, not up to the right, but rather keep it a little bit left, so that's helpful. Also in the head-up display, I have a good visualization. That's also helpful, showing me some kind of maps, even in color. That's again also really, really good feature. Yeah, but this is not a vehicle, at least in the highest spec, where you drive for the first time, you sit down, drive it, and I know everything. Everything is okay. And I think cars should be that way. They should be so easy to control that you step inside and you feel at home. Here, it's tech overload and it's too complicated with all the features you have. We like to have new features, especially as for safety or for multimedia also, but they need to be easy or maybe even easier than before, but here things just got more complicated. So I really, while driving, have mixed feelings. The hardware of this vehicle and the driving characteristic, the suspension, steering feel, by the way, is also very natural, really cool. So all driving related things, direct driving related things, are just superb, are among top of the segment. If you really say like, yeah, Audi A4, BMW 3 Series, which one is the best now? It really also depends on personal preference. This one in a normal version rather laid out on comfort. The BMW 3 Series from the base version is a little bit sportier. Also the Audi A4 is sportier, so I would say like from comfort to sportiness, it's more like Mercedes, Audi, BMW. So that would be like the personal preference then. The AMG version then later on of this one, of course, will be then sportier than the other sporty versions. So Mercedes always has a huge gap between their non-AMG models and the AMG models. That's really interesting. Yeah, but in general, it's really, you know, the hard facts so great, but the user interface, they put so much work into that. And I really think I have to say that they made the user interface worse than before. So to me, the solution is, yes, you can easily go for the new C-Class as one of the best mid-size vehicles to drive, definitely, but do not pick the highest trim. Do not go for every option that is available, because this is even making things more complicated. So keeping it low spec or mid spec to have more, you know, the classic climate knobs or something, this makes things easier. So save money and make things easier. That's good news, isn't it? Woo. German Autobahn high speed. It's always the best test for the vehicles. So now at 180 kilometers an hour, like 110 miles per hour, and once again good noise insulation and how calm and stable the car is here. Lane change at high speeds, doesn't shake up at all. I don't have to correct anything. That feels really, really good. So once again, this adaptive suspension here is really top notch, and build quality from the, you know, NVH and so on. Also, so noise, vibration, harshness. Yeah, that's once again top notch. So one more thing about the assistance systems, of course, play an even more important role, going back to comfort mode. And this is also with the most sophisticated build in here. And here also lane is being kept also on the motorway. And the distance to the car in front of us, I can also set the speed here at the steering wheel, for example. So, and also can reduce the distance, for example, or set just a limiter. But most of the time you have the adaptive cruise control in place then, and see here also lane is being kept. And after a while it should also start complaining. Let's see, when does it complain? Then I can show you the capacitive steering function. Not complaining yet. So when does it say, Evil Thomas, don't do that? Now. So, and then, see here, I just touch the steering wheel that the car knows I'm here. I don't have to like shake it or something. And the fuel consumption before the last acceleration here, we were here for the C300 2-liter 4-cylinder petrol engine, turbo of course. Around 7 liters on 1 kilometer, so some 30 mpg US and some 40 mpg UK. And now off the motorway, once again you can see here, augmented reality arrows. They're really helpful, I think. You know? And here we can also test the agility. Nice corner we have. I'm in the sports mode. And once again, good commands from the steering wheel to the road. Really nice in the sport mode, a little bit more feedback then. And so this overall very natural driving feeling this car is offering here, a little bit accelerating out. It's really nice. Also in the all-wheel drive version, there's still a rear wheel bias. Now we have to be a little bit careful here. Yeah, there we go. And accelerating out. So when you have the all-wheel drive, it doesn't feel that you're being pulled from the front too much. Still more power to the rear wheels. However, my choice would definitely be C300 rear-wheel drive. I think that is the best setup then here for this vehicle. Interesting definitely to compare it to the BMW 3 Series and also to the Audi A4. We have, of course, reviews of these. And looking forward to your comments. Which one do you actually find better?